Alright, what's up, people? It's me. My name's Johnny, and today we're going to talk about Claude Monet and his development on Impressionism. Yeah. So, welcome to my video. I'm going to be painting today, but that's besides the point. Let's start talking about Claude. So, he was essentially a French painter, a founder of French Impressionist painting, and the most consistent and prolific practitioner of theory of the movement of expressing one's view before nature, especially all applied to plain. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to say right now, I'm reading a script. So if I sound fake, you know why. Alright, let's continue. Alright, now that we're back on track. So let's go into the word Impressionism. It is derived from the title of one of his paintings, actually, which is titled, sorry if I butcher it, Soleil Levant, which stands for Impression Sunrise. So this was exhibited in 1874 in the first of his independent exhibitions, and in order to capture the shift of light and the passing of the seasons, like he tried to desire the document. Okay, he ended up trying to document the way that the French countryside, quote unquote, the way it looked. And by painting the same scene over and over again, this helps develop his method of painting, which is, I'm going to say it again, Impressionism. Can you count how many times I've said it? I don't know. We just got started. Let's continue. So, starting from 1883, Monet lived in Giverny. I don't know where that is. Well, let me look it up real quick. Hold on, give me a second. You guys, it's in France. I forgot he's a French painter, so obviously makes sense. He was in Giverny, or Giverny. I don't know how you say it, but that's where he was. This is where he bought a house and a property where he began to start a lot of his painting projects, mostly of landscapes. And this includes what I will be elaborating on, his lily ponds. Scrumptious. We love those. Amazing series. Everyone should take a look at it. Take it in, breathe it in. Love it. However, before we even get to that, what this video is about is, like Monet's, development of the style of Impressionism. So we're going to touch on that first, and then we are going to bring up his famous series, The Water Lilies. So let us begin. And it all starts in Paris, France, where Claude Monet and also other Paris-based artists in the 1860s helped start, create, invent Impressionism of what we know and love today. But there has been some argument in this that there is another artist by the name of John Constable who pioneered the method, not of Impressionism, but of painting outside in a natural environment and in a very practical way. But it's not about him today. It's about our boy Claude Monet. So let us continue. So, as I stated, I'm sorry guys, I'm reading from the script and it's hard to battle my mind and what I'm reading, but anyways, so as I said, Impressionism was about not being in the studio and just being outside. Yo, I sound so fake. Okay. Alright, from the top. So, I'm going to read this time. Instead of painting in a studio, the Impressionists discovered that they were able to capture the momentary and fleeting effects of sunlight by working very quickly, very rapidly in an open space. Obviously, this was outside, and this would be in front of more natural subjects. And they would, if they wanted to include people or objects, obviously they would have them there, but these sessions would be very short and quick. As a result, there was just a greater understanding for the way light worked and the way color harmonized with each other in these spaces, especially because the best way to learn how colors harmonize with each other is in nature, because that's kind of the basis of color theory. Fun fact. So yeah, let's continue. So they beautifully portrayed the realms of nature and the modern society from their own eyes, using these very vibrant colors, which was just the normal go-to for Impressionism. And to make the kind of I don't even know what this word is. And in order to make the fleeting effect of the light, the brushwork which is honestly like a key point of Impressionism. The brushwork had to be very rapid and broken into separate dabs, and you can see this. There's many different strokes in these types of paintings, or these little dots, just because it was really quick. And not like an afterthought, but you just had to really be like on top of your shit, basically. So now that we have more of an insight on Impressionism and how it works, so we're going to go into one of the first group exhibitions from multiple artists, which the homeboy Monet, but also some honorable mentions: Augustin Renoir, Edgar Degas, and Paul Cézanne. Hopefully I said their names right, but we're just going to assume I did. So this group exhibition took place in Paris in 1874, with featuring one of Monet's works. The work displayed was really... It was criticized. There was a lot of mockery along with it, just because the movement was kind of seen as a joke. Especially because this wasn't the traditional, like, realistic style that most people were used to. And it's hard to break from habits. And I feel like as artists, that's what everyone tries to do. But you know what? There's just a comfortable space where everyone's opinions and views are okay with. But you know what? These guys, they said we're going to mix it up. Turn around, flip it, and reverse it. Just like Missy Elliott. They don't know who that is, but they will. So it did take time, but as things evolved and more things went on, Impressionism was accepted as a movement, and more artists kind of like flocked towards that style. It was just like the thing at the time. You wanted to be an Impressionist. So like as a result, there were more and more people that were starting to identify with this style, which was really great. And it started in France, but then had like a long-lasting effect and impact for like other artists that were overseas. So that's pretty cool. So through the willingness of great painters to continue to create in their old age, and a desire for younger painters to seek out these masters and respect them in their work and their process, it really helps us see the expression and the growth of Impressionism. And that's kind of like one of the cool things to see in art, is like the clashing of different generations and how they have certain respects and appreciations for each other. And now for the main event, we're discussing the water lilies, or water lilies of Monet. Yeah, that's right, people. We here, and I'm going to teach you something about these water lilies. So, water lilies, it is not just one painting, but a series. And I mentioned earlier how he lived in the countryside. He made this giant pond and actually planted these water lilies himself. And this series consists of over 250 different paintings. So they were mostly made towards the end of his life, and only 22 of them were like delivered and really put out there into the world after his death. So that's cool. French government, they own them. Great, good for them. Love that for them. So as stated before, he bought this property in 1893, and he made the Japanese style garden in order to like make a big pond, which he then filled with what did he fill them with? The water lilies. That's right. And there was also like a humpback bridge that he included into this. It does make an appearance in some of them, but not all of them, because they're all different, which is beautiful. So Monet used a small stream that flowed through his house. He lined the banks with willows and shrubbery to create his final series. The water lilies retired to his watery domain, separated from the outside world. Ooh, recluse. Love that. On the side of the yard, he built a glass wall studio and set up a wheeled easel so he could roll around freely and not be interrupted or limited. And after painting the shifted images of the pond, its water lilies, and the reflected lights at all hours of morning, day, and night, he created paintings non-stop there. And they're beautiful. Oh my god, you guys, just look at it. Anyways, like, he tried to include as much as he can, as many different variations. The willows on the beach, the bridge, the sky at different times of the day, because that was one of the main points of Impressionism. And yeah, there were just so many different ways to capture this one spot. But towards the end of the series, he did focus more on just the pond itself, which is cool. The brushstrokes and the pigments of the flowers, they definitely vary from the beginning of the series to the end, because as he aged, so that like the style, it was still developing. So the impressionist techniques like grew with him. So now that you know more about how this developed and more about this painting, I hope you enjoyed. And I picked this particular water lilies painting because it was one of the more finer pieces, as one would state, or at least that's what it said on Google. Love them. Shout out to them. And yeah, thank you for joining me. Also, real quick, shout out to our sponsors. Starbucks, they are fueling me and this project at the moment, so shout out to them. We're gonna go shout out for Michaels because they supplied me with all my art supplies. And last but not least, my parents for buying me this hydro flask about 2 years ago. Yeah, because that's what we painted on, and I thought outside the box enough for you, Professor D. Sorry, I'm tired, but yeah.